front porch and talk. Neighbors would come by and have lemonade. Those were good times. Now nobody has time for anything. They don't even build porches on houses anymore. Everybody's inside watching television and not saying much of anything to anybody.
Dinah stayed close, responding to the ache of loneliness she heard in his words and voice. He wasn't whining. He was grieving. His wife had passed away 4 months before. The family had gathered around him long enough for the memorial service and then scattered across the states again. His 2 sons lived on the West Coast, too far away to make frequent visits. His daughter lived in Indiana, but called him every Sunday. Sundays were good days for Mr. Packard. Tonight was Wednesday.
"I'm Miss Trooper,"
he said quietly. He smiled wistfully.
"I used to call Frida Trooper."
Mr. Packard told Dinah how he had come up with the nickname just after World War II. He had fought in the Pacific 2 years before being blown off a transport. He landed in a field hospital where he spent another 3 months before he was shipped stateside.
"While I was away, Frida had our son and managed a part-time job. When my father got sick with cancer, she quit and stepped into his shoes to help my mother run the family grocery store. My Frida was a home front soldier."
His expression softened in memory, his eyes glistening with tears.
"So I called her Trooper, and it stuck."
"We have to close down, Dinah," Sally said from behind the counter. She said it loudly enough so that poor Mr. Packard would hear. Dinah looked at his face and wanted to weep. Taking the hint, the old man got up.
"Everybody's in a hurry these days,"
he said with a glance toward the kitchen. Then his eyes came to rest on her again.
"Good night, Dinah. You be careful out there tonight."
"I will, sir," she said with a fond smile, touching his shoulder as he passed. "Try not to worry." Juan Garcia began putting chairs upside down on the tables. Gathering Mr. Packard's spoon, cup, and saucer, Dinah watched the old man walk stiffly across the room. His arthritis was troubling him again. "I didn't mean to break up your little chat," Sally said as Dinah put the things into the big industrial dishwasher and pulled the door down. "Some of these old people could talk until your hair turned gray." She took her sweater from the hook on the wall. "They've got no place to go and nothing to do." "He misses his wife," Dinah said, and thought about following Mr. Packard's suggestion and asking Sally for a ride. "I know. I miss my husband. I miss my kids. You miss your handsome fiancé." She dumped her shoulder bag onto the counter and shrugged into her sweater and parka. "And as Scarlett O'Hara always said, tomorrow is another day." Picking up her bag, she said a brisk good night and headed for the back door. Sally seemed in such a hurry. Dinah didn't want to impose upon her. Besides, it wasn't that far to the bus stop, and there were plenty of streetlights along the way. Getting her backpack from the storage room, Dinah slipped off her rubber-soled white shoes and pulled on her snow boots. Zipping the shoes into the backpack, she said goodnight to Juan. Crossing the dining room, she went into the lobby that opened out into the back parking lot. Sally had already turned the lights down for the night. There was only the soft glow of security lights and the bright lights behind Dinah where Juan was getting ready to wash and wax the floors. Pulling on her parka, Dinah went to the back door. The idea that she needed to be concerned hadn't ever crossed her mind before. The manor wasn't exactly a center of crime. The worst thing that had happened was someone spray-painting graffiti on the walls 3 months ago. The manager had painted over the bubble letters and numbers by the next afternoon, and the police increased the number of times they drove by each evening. The vandals hadn't returned.